Hi everyone, welcome to Charmcrux. Today we'll try to learn something about how can we easily square any number easily in our head without any pen, paper or calculator. And now I'm using pen and paper just to show you the processes, but you'll be able to do it in your head if you practice well. So I'm not talking about one digit numbers, not even 10, 20, 30 that you can also do without any hard work too, because like say 40 square is just simply what is 4 squared. 4 squared is just 16, so 40 square will be 1600. Now let's say what is 11 square. So maybe 11, 12 square, maybe this is also easy for you. Maybe you remember these numbers. Also if you don't remember this, then you can think it like 11 square, that is 11 into 11. So we can think it like 10 plus 1 into 11. So 10 plus 1 into 11, that means 10 into 11 plus 1 into 11. So that means what is 10 into 11? That's just 110. 110 plus 11. What is that? That is 121. So this is quite easy to find out. Also 12 square we can do in this way to find 144. 13, 14, 15, that may not be also very difficult to you as well. Also remember that any number between, let's first confine ourselves with 2 digits. We'll, after finding the tricks to find out the squares of any 2-digit number in head, we'll further move up to tricks for 3 digits. But first let's confine ourselves in 2 digits. So for 2 digits number, any numbers that ended with 5, like say 35, 45, 55, any number. Let's say we are talking about 65. So always remember that this kind of number we can easily square them in our head. Like what we have to do, just simply always remember that for any number that ended with 5, the square of that number will be ended with 25. Like you can consider it in a way like that. What is the 5 square? That is 25. So the last 2 digit will be 25. And also the previous 2 digits, that will be just simply this number into the next number of it. So that will be 6 into 7. So what is 6 into 7? That is just simply 42. So 65 square, that will be just simply 4225. So you can do it for any 2 digits number, a number of consisting 2 digits that ended with 5. Like say what is 85 squared? That will be just simply last 2 digits will be 25. Always remember that any number that ends with 5, the square of that number will be ending with 25. So what is the first 2 digit? That will be just simply 8 into the next number of 8. What is that? So 8 will be multiplied with 9. So 8 multiplied with 9, that is just simply 72. So the 85 squared will be 7225. So this tricks will work any number that ended with 5. So now let's say what is 21 square. And for this we can just remember that I'll talk about several algorithms. You can use any algorithms that suits you well. And also if you practice this, the main thing is don't touch the calculator, just practice, and then you'll find out your own algorithm that you're comfortable with. Just don't touch the calculator in the first place. So 21 square, that will be just simply we can think it like 20 plus 1 whole square. So now a plus b whole square, we can use the formula of a plus b whole square. So that will be 20 squared, that is 400. 2 into 20 plus 1, that is 40 plus 1. So that will be just simply 441. And also remember that this 21 square we can also find out by this formula. 21 square is just simply, just remember 20 square plus 20 plus 21. So that is, what is 20 square? That is 400 plus 20 plus 21, that is 41. So that comes out also 441. So we can use any of this for numbers that is close to 20, 30, 40, these numbers. 1, 2 more than that, or 1, 2 less than that. So we can use any of the formula. And this is also, remember that this works because we can think it like n plus 1 whole square. That will be just simply n square plus n plus n plus 1. So what is that? That is n square plus 2n plus 1. And also remember that what is n plus 1 whole square? That is simply a plus b whole square's formula. According to that, this is also n square plus 2n plus 1. So that's the reason behind this algorithm, and this is just simply a plus b whole squares formula. Now let's see what is the square of 23. So for this we'll use a different approach. And what is 23 square? In this method, first what we have to do, we have to individually square both the numbers. So what is 3 squared? That is 9. And what is 2 squared? That is just 4. For the middle number, for the middle digit, what we have to do, we have to multiply both the digits 2 and 3. So what is 2 multiplied with 3? That is 6, and we have to further double it. So what is the double of 6? That is just 12. So for that 12, 2 will be placed here and 1 will be added with this term. So 4 plus 1, that will be 5. So what is 23 squared? That will be just simply 529. So this is the method that we can use. Also, let's see another algorithm. Now say we want to find out what is 27 square is. And for this method, just think, what is the nearest? That is just 30, 40, this kind of numbers. So 27, for 27 the nearest number that will be 30. So we have to, and for getting to 30, what we have to do, we have to add plus 3 to 27. And always remember that we have to, the numbers that we have added to this number, we have to also subtract that from the same number. So what is 27 minus 3? That will be 24. And then we have to multiply these two numbers. So 30 into 24, that is just simply what is 3 into 24. 3 into 24, that is just simply 72. So there is a 0, so this will be just 720. For the final answer, we have to further add the difference squared to it to find out 729. Keep in mind that this algorithm works just because we can write n square as n plus d into n minus d plus d square. Just see what we have done. We want to find 27 square, so that must be our n. And for that, we have added 3 to it. So that's the difference, d. So we have added 3 to it and also subtracted 3 to it to get 24. And then we have multiplied these two numbers. So that will be n plus d into n minus d. And further, to that, we added the difference square. So that difference was 3 and the square of 3 is just 9. After adding these two, we get our final result. And this completely works because what is n plus d into n minus d? That is just simply n square minus d square plus d square. So that this d square will be cancelled out. So we get the square of that number. Notice one thing, 23 squared is just 529, 27 squared is just 729. But remember earlier, when we squared 65 squared, so that was 4225, and also 85 squared, that was also 4 digits. So in this case, the square number is 3 digits, consisting of 3 digits, but in this case, the squared number is consisting of 4 digits. So we have to keep that in mind, just that 31 squared is 961, but 32 squared is 1024. So 31 to 32. Any number that is less than or equal to 31, any whole number that is less than or equal to 31, that will be, the square of that number will be consisting of 3 digits. But any number that is greater than or equal to 32, the squared number will be of 4 digits. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. We have another easy tricks to find out the square of the numbers that is close to 50. So there must be two types. One that is greater than 50, like 53. Another that is less than 50, like 48. So to square 48, what we have first to do, just keep track that 48 is 2 less than 50. 48 is 2 less than 50. So 48 is 50 minus 2. So 48 is squared. Always remember that any number that is close to 50, to get the first two digits, as we can see, this is far greater than 32. So there must be 4 digits in total. So to find out the first two digits, what we have to do, we have to write first 25. And we have to subtract exactly the number that is 48 less than 50. So 48 is 2 less than 50. So we have to subtract 2 from 25. So that will be 23. So 23 will be the first two digits of our answer. And for the second two digits, we have to square the difference. We have to square the difference between that number and 50, and that will give us the second two digits. So that will be just 2 squared. 2 squared is just 4, and as we can know that there will be total 4 digits, so we have to write 04. So 48 squared will be 2304. 2304. And to get 53 squared, what we can notice that 53 squared, it is 53. This is 50 plus 3. So to get the first two digits, what we have to do, we have to add this 3 to 25. So we have to add this 3 to 25 and that will give us 28. And for the second two digits, what we have to do, we have to just simply square this difference. So this difference is 3. So 3 squared will be just 9. So the second two digit will be 2809. So that will give us 53 squared. So this trick we can use any number that is close to 50. As we have seen already all the algorithms to find out any squares of any two-digit numbers, let's practice a few more. So let's see what's the square of 63. So to find what 63 square is, what we can do, we can use any of the algorithms discussed earlier. Let's first try it with this method. So 63, the nearest number like 50, 60, 70, that kind of number, that is just 60. So if that is 60, to get to 60, what we have to do? We have to subtract 3 from it. And to balance out, what we further have to do? We'll have to add 3 to 63. And what will be that? That will be 66. Then we have to further multiply these two numbers. So that means 66 into 60. So what is 66 into 60? That will be just simply, what is 6 into 60? 6 into 60 is 360. And what is 6 into 6? That is 36. So 360 plus 36, that is 396, and there is a 0. So this will be 396 and there is a 0. So this will be 3960. And further we have to add the square of the difference, and the square of the difference in this case is just 9 because the difference is 3. So 3 square, that will be 9. So after adding these two, we'll get the final result. So that will be 3969. So we can use another different approach, which is just simply, for that approach, let's say we are sticking with the same number. We want to know what is the square of 63 is. And for that, first what we have to do, we have to keep in mind that as the number is greater than 32, so there will be total 4 digits in the square of it. So in those 4 digits, first separately write the square of those digits. So what is 6 square? That is 36. And what is 3 square? That is 9. Then we have, what we have to do? We have to further multiply these two numbers, and what is that? That is 3 into 6, that is 18, and we have to double it. 18 into 2, that is 36. So 36, 6 will be placed here, and the 3 will be added to this digit. So 3 will be added to this, so 6 plus 3, that will comes out to be 9. In this approach, we also get 3969 as a square of 63. Let us practice with another number. So now say we want to square 78. We want to know what 78 square is. And so again, what is the nearest number? That is kind of like 70, 80, this kind of number. So that is 80. And to get 80, what we have to do? We have to add 2 to 78. And to balance out, what we have to further do? We have to subtract 2 from it. So that will end up getting 76. Then we have to multiply these two numbers. So that will be 18 to 76. So to find out what is 18 to 76, just simply think of what is 18 to 76, and in that result we will add a 0. So what is 18 to 76? 18 to 70, that will be 560, and 18 to 6, that will be 48. 560, 48, that will be 608, and there is a 0, so it will be 6080. And further, the difference is 2. We have to add the square of it. So 2 square, that is 4. So the final answer will be 6084. This is according to this method. That the algorithm behind this we have already discussed earlier, that is just simply n square equals to n plus d into n minus d plus d square. That we have in this method to find out the square of 78. What we have to do? There will be total 4 digits in the square, as this is greater than 78, far greater than 32. First, what we have to do? So what is 7 square? 7 square is just simply 49. Write 49 here. And what is 8 square? That is 64. And then what is 7 into 8? 7 into 8, that will be just simply 56. And what is the double of 56? That will be 112. Then what we have to do? we have to add 112 to it. Remember why we are adding this 112 in this format, because remember that 72 square will be also consisting of 4 digits. If we add these two, then we'll get 4, 6, 2, that will be 8, 9, 1, that will be 10, 0. So carry will be 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 4 plus 2, 6. So we also get 6084. Let's say now we want to find out what 99 square is. So to find out what 99 square is, let's use the approaches what we have learned first. So 99 we can think it like 100 minus 1 whole square, a minus b whole square's formula. So that will give us 100 square, that will be 10,000 minus 2ab, that will be 200 plus 1. So that comes out to be 10,000 minus 200, that is 9,800, and plus 1, that is 9,801. Also in other approach, we can think it like 99 square. It is just 100 minus 1. 99 is 100 minus 1, so we can write it as 100 square minus 100 minus 99. So that will also give us 9,801. So we can use any approach. And this approach, I think you remember when we wanted to find out the square of 21 is, and for that what we have done 21 square equals to 20 square plus 20 plus 21, because 21 was one more than 20. But in case of 99, in case of this kind of number which is one less than, like 19, 29, 39 or 99, whatever, in case of the number was one greater than 20, 30, 21, 31, that kind of numbers, what was the formula? N plus 1 whole square equals to n square plus n plus n plus 1. In case of one less, we have to use that n minus 1 whole square equals to n square minus n minus n minus 1. So we can use any of the approach. So now I think you can find out the square of any 2 digits numbers. That won't be difficult for you, just in head. Now let's move forward to a square 3 digits numbers, and that won't be difficult as well. Just the main thing, keep in mind that don't touch calculator, just try it in your head. Also you may say that what's the necessity of doing this? We can easily, like whenever we want to square 63, we can easily multiply them in this way, what we learned in our childhood, like 3 into 3, 3 times 3, that is 9, 3 times 6, that is 18, then 6 times 3, again 18, 8, carry 1, 6 into 6, that is 36, so 36 plus 1, that will be 37. Then we find out the square of this will be 8, 8, 16, 6, 1, 1 on 2, 7, 2, 9, 3,969. But this thing, doing this in head can be sometimes quite difficult, especially when you are trying to square any 3 digit numbers. So for that we are learning some tricks, and after a bit practicing this will be just all too easy for you. At the first time this must seem a bit tedious, but with a bit of practice this won't be any difficult to you at all. Although you may get these numbers just easily, what is 3 into 63 and what is 6 into 63, that you can find easily, but then you have to add those numbers, and in case of 3 digit numbers that will be a bit tedious. So just work with different approach, just find out whatever is easy for you. This method may seem very easy if you have pen and paper, but we're talking about cases then you don't have access to pen and paper, just you want to easily square the numbers in your head. So just keep in mind that squaring numbers, there is some people can square number easily in their head, and there is nothing superhuman about this. You can do it yourself just by practicing a bit.